Inside the Game, back live on your airwaves. You're on the National Soccer Network. Nice shirt you got on today. That's actually that's a surprise. I didn't know you were nice 2023 national
Yeah,
champs.
no,
I didn't know
it
you
was
were
hot in
wearing
here,
that.
so I had to take off the hoodie.
So you did have a hoodie on, took it off. I like the t-shirt though. You weren't at the game, were you? Did you go to the game?
No.
Oh,
You think
okay.
I
All
had
right.
that
Well, you
zero
got
money?
the t-shirt. Well, I mean, you can. I knew a few people who were at the game. I was so pissed when I saw them too. I saw it on the thing that sucks about social media is you see that stuff, you're like, that could have been me. It was fun though. I mean, I watched it around a bunch of people, but I just thought maybe I don't know if you had the shirt, maybe you were there. But anyways, welcome back in to everyone watching here today. Another episode here on Inside the Game. Ryan wanted to start off the show here. I know we chatted about this a little bit, but I wanted to give a shout out to the U.S. women's national hockey team yesterday, beating Canada 5-0 at the Olympics. The first time in our country's history that we've ever done that,
Suck
that
it,
we've
Canada.
blanked
Suck
Canada
it.
5-0. I also want to give a shout out Layla Edwards, first African-American woman to ever score with the U.S. women's Olympic team. So
Suck
pretty
it,
cool in
Canada.
that way. Blazing trails. Yes, of course. And also, but I think maybe in a bigger sense, just women's sports in general. I know we had National Women in Sports Day a handful of days ago, but it is just amazing to watch, especially on the international scale, what the women in our country have been able to accomplish, whether it be what hockey is doing this year, whether it be what soccer has been doing. In Emma Hayes and reestablishing their dominance, whether it be rugby and medaling for the first time in 100 years. I mean, the men aren't even in the conversation in the sport of rugby, but yet Alona Mara has become a superstar because of what that team has been able to do, whether it be basketball or softball. You could talk about beach volleyball. It doesn't really matter. It is cool to see the women from this country dominating, especially with the USA on their chest. But that was another cool example yesterday. But yes, Ryan, yes, of course. Suck it, Canada.
So I
100%.
think when it comes to like our women athletes, which again they're the best in the world at just about everything, but I also think that America got a jump start on women athletics. I guess if that makes sense.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
It feels like we were the first.
Oh, yeah.
The first. Obviously, there's a couple sports where we're not the best in, just like every country. But it feels like because like when you talk about soccer, obviously we're behind the eight ball in terms of like progressing our sport and especially like kind of when the wars and the depression showed up, we kind of like threw soccer away while the other countries didn't. So we've been playing catch up ever since. But with like
Yeah.
with like U.S. soccer, I guess like we're one of the first. I feel like to really take the sport seriously in terms of women's soccer and just like all the other sports compared
Yep.
to the other countries and now we're starting to see all these countries take women athletics very seriously, but feels like we kind of got a little bit of a jump start and hopefully we just continue to maintain that and hold that crown.
Yeah, well, and in hindsight, I mean, as frustrating as it was to see certain athletics programs go, Title IX is a big reason why. I mean, this investment in trying to bring equality in that way kind of brought women's sports to the forefront, and so to be the ones blazing the trails in that way is awesome. But yeah, a collective 20-1 in terms of the score differential for the U.S. women's
Yeah,
national
Canada
team.
sucks. Quit hockey.
Absolutely wild.
I hope
Absolutely wild.
I hope that during these Olympics, like how like Michigan State fans hate us and like Europe hates us or European soccer fans hate us. I hope
Yeah.
that Canadian hockey fans can hate us like during this Olympics.
Oh, they do. Oh, they absolutely do. No, they always have.
No,
They
I'm
don't
saying
like
this
us.
show specifically. I'm not saying
Oh,
obviously
okay.
they don't know we
Okay.
exist, Nate. We've never once talked about hockey on the show
That's fair.
until
A couple
now.
times.
So
Briefly mentioned it.
So I hope that we can create some videos that somehow makes its way into the snowy parts of Canada because it's cold and probably dark up there and just scary because it's just snowy
Yeah.
everywhere. That
they built underground tunnels underneath their cities so that people can walk
yeah,
from
that
place to place
sucks.
without
Yeah, that
having
would
to
suck to live in. Yeah, suck
be
Canada.
outside during the winter. Yeah,
Yeah,
Toronto.
so I
Shout
just
out
hope that
shout out Drake.
we can get some videos that gets pushed towards them, and they start hating us. Then when we win the Olympic or when we win the gold medal in both things,
There you
we
go.
can suck it.
There we
Yeah.
go. All right. So yeah, so we already got English soccer fans hating on us, and now we're gonna try and get the Canadians piling on us too. So
Yeah, why not?
that's not. It's gonna be pretty easy. And you talked about yesterday how you can't live without rage baiting, and so I feel like this is a match made in heaven. It's not gonna be hard to get them to hate us. I'm just saying.
Oh
Just
yeah,
saying.
no. I'll just say something
If the
stupid.
U.S. beats them in hockey, we're going to be insufferable. But I wanted to get into this a little bit before we get into our main topics. But we actually have started here on the National Soccer Network, and of course, this was all your idea. You were able to put this together. But our 120 moments of the World Cup, top moments of the World Cup leading up to the World Cup, and we started that now today is when we're starting it, this Wednesday leading up to, so 120 days from now the World Cup starting. What is moment number one for us?
Why would I say that?
Oh, you haven't posted it yet.
Why?
Oh,
Why?
okay.
Why would I
So
say?
we're
Why?
teasing it.
Like,
I
Nate,
don't know
do
why.
we
I don't
not
know
know
why.
what a we tease stuff all the time on this show, and then
Tease
you just want me to like throw my hand at something that I'm hoping that the world likes and loves, and you're just like, so what is it? No,
You're just like, just tell us. All right. I thought
no.
maybe you would
They
like
every
debut it on
single
the show
day,
or something.
and every single day at 4 o'clock until for the next 120 days. Yes, I'm not filming these every single day. Some of these will be filmed in the same day, so deal with it. I'm wearing the same. Then I'm wearing a Detroit Red Wings hockey shirt and some of these, and a Michigan National Championship T-shirt and some of these. So who cares? But no, every single day at 4 o'clock. If so, again, drop us a follow on TikTok. Drop us a follow on Instagram, and make sure like, subscribe, all that fun stuff on YouTube. But every day at 4 o'clock, there will be a video posted of the best World Cup moment ranked from 120. We're going from 120 all the way down to number one. I'm not saying anything on this show. Maybe after a little bit we can like recap a couple of them and revisit them. But until they're
There you go.
actually put to the universe, I won't recap them. But I won't say anything. But yeah, no, it's exciting. It's going to take a lot of time and effort, but we're going to get it done. But so YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, drop us follows there. There'll be a video every single day at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. And you'll see a video of the top 120 moments, and 120 drops today at 4 o'clock.
All right, there you go. That is, my man's been busy at work putting together list on list over there, and that's he's got an impressive one for the 120 moments leading up to the World Cup. Let's get into our first topic of the day here today, Ryan. I know that this was just mentioned yesterday. I also saw some news about Weston McKennie, and we can get into that as well. Maybe some interest from Atletico Madrid when it comes to one Weston McKennie. We were just ranking or going through the rankings, rather, ESPN's top 25 managerial spots in football. Now, again, they worked in international sides and club sides, which you kind of
Makes no
said, and I
sense.
tend to
Stupid.
agree with you, doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It's like
However,
let's rank
Atletico
college and
Madrid,
NFL jobs. Stupid.
yeah, right, yeah. So it's a little bit odd in that way, but Atletico Madrid was a top 3 team in that list. So a little bit of interest in Weston McKennie. What does that mean for him? Will he get playing time? We could talk more about that later, but I wanted to start off with, numero uno, the way that we do whenever there's news about this individual, and that's Christian Pulisic, linked to Arsenal, Liverpool, and Tottenham.
Why did you bring up Atletico Madrid?
They have interest in acquiring Weston McKennie.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that's for free.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's for a free. Yeah, that's okay. I was like,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
brought up Andy Dalton
Yeah.
the other day, and I was just like, wait, Andy Dalton? Okay, just making sure.
No, yeah, no, I saw that earlier. So I was just saying, if we wanted to circle back and talk about that a little bit. But your initial takeaways from the teams that are bidding for Christian Pulisic, and I mean, when you look at this, and I think him returning to the Premier League is just simply a matter of time. I don't think there's any doubt that he wants to go back, but where do you think maybe might be the best landing spot for him?
Stay where he's at. It's the best landing spot for him. And it's simply,
Really?
what has he said in terms of contract extensions? He wants to stay at AC Milan if there's
Yeah.
Champions League football. And if I'm looking at the standings, AC Milan, I mean, Arsenal technically probably has the best spot of making the Champions League out of all of these teams that has been mentioned. But the teams mentioned, Tottenham, Liverpool, Arsenal. AC Milan is in a title race at the moment. Arsenal's in a title race at the moment. Liverpool's on the outside looking in terms of the top four. But I think this year, with the cups will and who wins the cups, I think the top five could technically get in.
Hmm.
Five teams could get into the Champions League from Europe. But Tottenham, they just fired Thomas Frank today. Absolutely love it. The team sucks. Club sucks. Club's rotten. So I wouldn't even go there regardless,
Yeah.
Pulisic. They're
Yep.
down in like 15th, 16th, something like that. But if I'm looking at Liverpool and Arsenal as the two real options, if he makes a move to Arsenal, Arsenal's got to sell a couple of people for a couple of players, to be honest with you. Maybe a Martinelli, maybe a Gabriel Jesus, maybe Trossard, but Trossard's been very good this year. Saka's not moving anytime soon. Madueke's not moving anytime soon. Eze's not moving. When Yeri would come back out on loan, obviously. So like, I don't, I wouldn't move to Arsenal if I'm Pulisic because of all the stuff that's going on. Or all the players that are there, I should say. And then if I look at
Yeah.
Liverpool, Salah's aging, but he's still Mo Salah, still impacts the game of some aspect, and they wouldn't drop him. Isak, they spent a ton of money on, so they're gonna have to play him when he comes back from injury. Cody Gakpo's fine. I'd honestly take Gakpo over Pulisic. Um, who else is there? Ekitike, no, they wouldn't drop him. Chiesa's in there. But no, like there's a logjam at all these spots, and if you're Pulisic, yeah, I get it. Champions League is the number one option. But if you get Champions
Hmm.
League at AC Milan, you stay there. You're the best player on that team, arguably one of the best players in Serie A. And don't give me this crap about Serie A and your grandma could play for 90 minutes in Serie A. Don't be giving me that in the TikTok comments. No, don't be giving that. It's a top league, and Pulisic is playing really well at a high level over there in Italy. Do not move if you're Pulisic. Everyone is always talking about, what's the next best thing? In sports or life in general or music, whatever it is. Everyone's like, what's the next best thing? What's the next best thing? Well, the best thing for you, Pulisic, if you get Champions League football next year, is to stay at AC Milan and continue your path over there because you're killing it.
Yeah, the grass is always greener, right? Like there's always something bigger, there's always something better on the other end. These are universal life truths, and it's something that I think we all sort of get caught up in. Even myself, right? I'm always looking for what the next big gig is. What's the next big opportunity, big organization that I can be a part of. But you know, the grass is, yes, it might be greener on the other side, but it's also green where you water it, right? It's green where if you develop where your feet are, if you stay where your feet are, if you stay grounded. And I think Christian Pulisic has set all of these lofty goals out for what he wants to do at AC Milan and where he wants to see that club go. And right now they are progressing towards those goals. They are making those goals happen with the way that they're playing. And he is the one leading the charge on that team and in that way. And so you have an organization that loves and adores you. You have a country that has recognized you as one of the best players in their country in a competitive league. And all of these things, all these bucket list items that you have set out for yourself, you've gone out and you've achieved a lot of them. You're not done with your goals quite yet. You're still pursuing them, but everything is going right now for Christian Pulisic. And so do you want to be in a place where you are the man, or do you want to be in a place where you are just a man or another man on that roster or on that list? Because you might see your playing time go down. You might be on the bench a little bit more. You might not be in the exact position that you want to be. And so, there's a reason why he left in the first place. And so why would you go back right now? It seems like the wrong time to go back. I think the right time would go back would to be if AC Milan was struggling, or if there was some other dispute that was long lasting that was putting Christian Pulisic in a bad spot to where he's like, I have to make a move now. But as much as I like to think, you could potentially join a side that could go out and win a championship. Right now, if you were to go back to any of those squads, minus Tottenham, obviously the Spurs have been in complete disarray, and we're going to talk more about that coming up here in hour number one. 8-match losing streak, their longest since I think it was 2008 that they've lost that many straight games. So no, I would not even think about a move to Tottenham. Yeah. Ooh,
You just
tough.
hate to see it.
Yeah, but outside of that, I mean, you could join a potential championship side in either Arsenal or Liverpool. But the truth is that again, do you want to be the guy or do you want to be just another one of the guys? Because at AC Milan right now, he's the guy. Regardless of what you think of the league or where it ranks or whatever, if you're getting into the Champions League, well, then you're one step away. So that's, I would tend to agree with the angle in which you're coming from on this.
Yeah, no, and we talked about yesterday of American players, taking that challenge of proving themselves that they can make it overseas. But I guess not to be hypocritical, if Pulisic wants to really challenge himself in the Premier League, go for it. I mean, he's been there before. I mean, COVID
Yeah.
Pulisic will never be forgotten. I mean, COVID Pulisic was unbelievable. I remember.
I don't think he has to prove it to himself anymore, though.
Yeah, he
I don't think
does.
he has to that
In the
he's
Premier
good
League, he
enough to
does.
hang with the
In the
but he's good
Premier League,
enough
yes,
to
he
hang with
does. He
that's fair.
flopped
Yeah,
there.
that's fair.
He was
Yeah,
only
that's
good
fair. Is
for
that
a couple months with no fans.
yeah. So would you assume that that's like the ultimate goal for him is to go back and prove himself in the Premier League? Because I mean, at that point, then
I
why
don't
not
know.
make the move?
I don't know the guy personally. I don't know what his personal goals are. From the outside looking in as a competitor, sure, I would think so. But at the same time, there's lots of players that have gone into the Premier League, flopped, came out of it, and then continue to dominate in other leagues. Look, Pulisic, we talked about him. He's not a strong player. The Premier League is the most physical league in the world. He's
Yeah,
he might, and we talked about his injuries. He might not make it healthy all the time. We might not even have him for the men's national team all the time because he's hurt. And he's done
yeah,
the EPL thing before. And he went to a bad club for that because Chelsea just buys players to buy players to say they've made transfer business. And eventually a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while with their purchases. But it's like, if you're at Arsenal or Liverpool, you're fighting with players that are better than you. Like, you're fighting with a lot of players that are better than you. I'll tell you right now, Saka, better than Pulisic. Madueke, probably. No, I'd still say Pulisic. Champions League Martinelli is way better, but not overall. Trossard, better than Pulisic. Gakpo, better than Pulisic. Mo Salah, better than Pulisic. Ekitike, better than Pulisic. Eze, I wouldn't really say Eze. Maybe they're more like the same playing field, if anything. But if I'm looking at this, you've got to battle with players that are much better than you. You're at AC Milan and you're perfectly fine. Sure, Rafael Leao is there, but he's your partner in crime. You don't have to compete against him. You're with him.
yeah,
So the best thing for you is to stay. Why move? It's the same thing for Weston McKennie. If Weston McKennie has the opportunity to stay at Juventus, you stay there. You're still playing Champions League. You're still playing top-end talent week in, week out, and you're in a top 4 league in the world. Everyone's like, well, they should leave. They should venture this, venture this. The only reason people want Pulisic in the Premier League is because that's the most watched league here in America. That's the only reason people in America are saying he should actually go to the Premier League is because it's much easier to watch Premier League games than it is to watch a Serie A game or a La Liga game or a Champions League game. That's the only reason people are saying that. But I don't think
yeah.
Pulisic lasts or does as much damage as he's doing in Serie A in the Prem. No shot he's doing that.
Oh, not as much. Yeah, it's just the whole thing of it's the best league in the world, right? I mean, back to circle back to the earlier point that you made, like as a competitor, like you want to be around the best. You want to be around the best that's out there, and that is in the Premier League. And so to that point, if he wants to, I understand my situation right now is really great, but I could also elevate to another level. I also could go out and actually make a name for myself in the league that I was kind of a flame out in and, sat on the bench in Chelsea and then eventually had to leave to come to Serie A and play for AC Milan. So I could see that as being like I need to get back into it and see what I can do to prove myself because I didn't really capitalize on my
Yeah,
first
he's just not.
opportunity last time around.
His physical
So,
stature and his playing style, he ain't gonna last. Like, that's the issue. And what do I mean? If everyone is like, wow, Pulisic should go to the EPL, and he gets hurt hurt like once a month or every couple of months, and then he can't even play for the U.S. Well, then what's the point of him making that move when he's at AC Milan and he's healthy for the most part? But we've talked about his injury issues. It's going to increase exponentially in the Prem because of how physical it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. And can his body hold up? That's the biggest question, not only for that, but for the U.S. men's national team, because you already talked about, will we have a fully healthy Christian Pulisic? I don't know. That's the biggest question for a lot of us going into the 26 World Cup. But let's step aside here for a moment. Wanted to let you guys know, by the way, Alex Lubianski will be joining us on the show coming up at 10:30. General manager and coach at DCFC. Be hopping by here on Inside the
Detroit
Game. But before
Metro.
we Detroit Metro will be joining us on the show. But wanted to tell you a little bit about FC Bayern Summer Soccer Camps. They are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, fostering football excellence across North America, open to boys and girls of all skill levels. FC Bayern Camps deliver elite training inspired by FC Bayern Munich's world-class philosophy. Select your city and start a promising soccer path. Right now, save $30 on registration by using promo code BayernNSN30. Again, that's BayernNSN30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Learn more, FCBayernYouth.com. Welcome back in Inside the Game, episode 227 here on the National Soccer Network. I know I told you guys a little bit about this before we went to commercial break, but Alex Lubianski, GM and coach at Detroit Metro FC, UPSL side, will be joining us here on the show. About 10:30 is when we're expecting to talk to him, but long resume, played at Michigan. Now we're going to talk a lot about the funded pathway for players that they're making over there at Detroit Metro and doing a lot of stuff. I feel like the focus of our conversations has been centered around a lot of player development, not just identifying, but also developing talent here in the United States, which is the biggest component of growing the game of soccer. And to that point, wanted to chat a little bit about what the U-17's have done. Qualified for the U-17 World Cup, the U.S. U-17 squad yesterday did that 1-1 draw against the Dominican Republic to finish top of the Group E in the CONCACAF U-17 qualifiers and book a 20th appearance to the 2026 U-17 World Cup in Qatar this fall. I know we chatted yesterday about the development in some of that younger squad, but what did you see out of this one, Ryan, and what's your biggest takeaway from it?
Again, I'd be lying to the people at home that to say that I watch these games close, and
Yeah.
not many people do unless you follow the team. But again, a couple of years ago, Taylor Twellman talked about, I think it was heading into the 2020 or 2021 Summer Olympics. Again, I don't know what the exact year was because of all the COVID stuff, but he mentioned that he was upset that fans were like, "Who cares if you make the Olympics? Who cares if you don't make it? It's U-17. Who cares?" And Twellman mentioned a really good point, and he said, "No, it absolutely matters because you get these group of guys in a tournament like environment, and in the biggest competition in U-17 soccer in the world, you get all these guys in an environment together for the first time. And eventually some of these players are
Yeah.
going to trickle in into the U-23s, and then the senior team, excuse me, and some will eventually make it into
Hmm.
the senior team for the World Cup. So we get these guys together one time, compete against the best U-17 soccer players in the world. I would say for the most part, because I feel like if you're 17, you're really really good at the age of 17. You might not be playing
Yeah.
in this, but it gets these Americans in tournaments together, and also how do we stack up against the world? How does our young
Yeah.
talent stack up against a France? How does it stack up against a Spain? How does it stack up against a Brazil? We get to see that, and you can help adjust your development. You can help adjust those players in that team, that group together, their development for the men's national team, and eventually, as a federation, you can maybe adjust a little bit of things based on what you see. But ever since we failed to make the World Cup in 2018, it feels like, and I think that every team, that could make a World Cup, could make an Olympics. They've all made it, whatever age that is, U-23, U-17, whatever you want to call it, U-20, whatever you want to call it. So it feels like everyone is kind of making all these tournaments, and that's a great step in the right direction in terms of getting our development as a nation, our development as players, and also telling the world that, we're not messing around anymore. We are taking this soccer game super seriously and our development in this country super seriously. And it just gets all of our players in one tournament spot again. And, any sort of jitters that they get to a senior World Cup, they're not super scared. Or they get to a senior Gold Cup, they're not scared. A senior Copa America, they're not scared because they've already been on the biggest stage at the age of 17, at the age of 19, at
Yeah.
the age of 20, 21, and
Yeah.
so forth, and so on. So, no, I think that's massive for us to continue to compete in these World Cups at the youth level.
Winning is a learned behavior. And I've said that on this show before. I've said it in general. Like, it is something that once you learn how to win as a group and with the people that are around you, that translates directly up the ladder, because you know what it takes to win in high leverage situations. You've been in high leverage situations. That has been something that has been thrust upon you, and you have to respond. And I've seen it before when you teach a group of players that all come up together, whether they're developing together through like a minor league system or they're coming up through college together. When they have all that time and all that experience around each other in games, to your point, to where they have that experience of being in knockout games and being in competitions where there is something tangible at the end of the line, especially if you're USA soccer, because you're not supposed to be there and you're not supposed to win it. If you can win those games, then the mental edge that gives you is something that you carry with you for the rest of your career. So to that point, Ryan, because we are a country that has not really ever won anything of note in the sport of soccer, minus on the women's side, ladies, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the guys here. Um because we are in a position to where we've never done anything of note in that way, every single potential medal, cup, championship trophy, I don't care if it's a makeshift plastic trophy you put on your shelf somewhere. I don't care if it's in some dude's backyard. Like, if there is a championship or something in which we can hold over our heads, we should absolutely be putting our best foot forward and doing everything we can to go out and win it. And I don't care what it is or what it looks like. Like, we don't, as on the men's side in the United States, we don't have the luxury of being like, oh, we're too good for that. Oh, we're above that. What, whether it be the Gold Cup, whether it be the CONCACAF, this, that, or the other thing. I don't care if they make up a cup tomorrow and they include two teams in it and it's just us and Mexico. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if it's 1 a.m. I don't like, if there is something on the line and we are a part of it, go get it, go win it, because we haven't won anything yet. I just said the other day, like, we always want to be like, well, let's do it our way. There is no our way. We have won nothing of note. Okay, so all of those should mean something. And this is directly why it was so frustrating when all those guys didn't show up for the Gold Cup this summer. It's for that exact reason. Like, it doesn't seem like, okay, whatever, the U-17 team qualified for the World Cup and they beat down on countries that most people otherwise never have heard of. But it's like, yes, but it still means something. Like, they're still in it, they're still competing, they're still, so all of that added up, we have nothing that we can hang our hat on truly as a soccer playing country on the men's side. So may as well be part of every tournament and everything that you can potentially go win. Go chase it. I like it. And in winning in high level games and mentally being in those high leverage situations are only going to make them better in the long run.
So we've talked about it on the show a couple of times. Then about the Gold Cup doesn't truly matter if we win it. So then if obviously we don't win much outside of the Gold Cup or Nations League, do we have to win those every single time then? If we're talking about a learned
Well, no,
winning
I'm just
behavior?
yeah, I'm just talking about like it not that necessarily the Gold Cup itself matters. Like, we're not going to run around and celebrate a Gold Cup like, hey, we've arrived as a soccer playing country. But beating Mexico matters. Beating Canada matters. Dominating CONCACAF matters. Yes, absolutely. I mean, control what you can control, right? And what we can control when we're not talking about obviously World Cup time. Now, this next 4 months is going to be completely different. But outside of that, what you can control is you are in CONCACAF. So dominate CONCACAF. You should be beating Mexico every time. You should be beating Canada every. Now, I know that's not realistic. That's not how the sport works, but that's what I'm talking about. It's
I think
not
with
that
our
the
best
Gold
team,
Cup
we could beat
itself.
those two all the time. With our best team.
Yeah, it's not that the Gold Cup really means anything. The trophy itself doesn't mean shit. It just means that we are the best team in CONCACAF. That's what we can control. So let's go. Let's go do it. So that's what it means. The trophy itself is whatever,
Yeah,
any of the trophies,
I don't think we've ever
even
won a
the
Youth
Nations
World
League.
Cup. And we've never won an Olympics.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, yeah, but we have to be in these environments because I remember a couple of years ago we beat I forget what team it was, but they're all kind of like trickling in now. Um, Conrad De La Fuente was on that team. Forgot exactly who all of them were, but we beat France and like in the round of 16 of a U20 World Cup or something,
I
and it was
remember that. Yeah,
unbelievable. I forget
yeah,
who maybe Gio Reyna was on that team, but no, it's like if you can beat a team like that, how much could your confidence grow, especially with like within that group of players that are eventually going to make it to
yeah.
the senior team. So it's massive in that sense.
Didn't the U20s just beat Italy this year? I thought they beat Italy in their World Cup.
They did. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and
So I
they
mean,
beat France this year in the U20. But we did technically beat when they were eventually some of those players eventually won a World Cup with France. So yeah, no, it's we if we can beat them on the U20 level, that's hopefully that translates. But again, at the same time, I think though you have to take it a little bit with the U20 U17 when you beat a nation like a France, some of their best players in that
with a
age group
grain of salt. Yeah,
might not
yeah,
be there. But at the same
yeah,
time,
yep,
those kids, those players, shouldn't say kids, those players eventually are going to think that they can beat a France. And when we come into, again, not all those players from the U20 teams and U17 teams will eventually translate. That's not realistic. But they do finally have that like that that belief that they can finally do it, and that's ultimately
yeah,
the US's next goal as a soccer federation is how can we beat
yeah,
that next level of teams, the Frances, the Colombias, the Brazils. Quite frankly, we really haven't done it ever. So yeah,
yeah.
that's what our next
Even
goal.
if it even if it is a foolish belief that they belong, I'm okay with that. Like, even if it's like it almost kind of reeks of when the Tigers were in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Like, when they went on that unbelievable run at the very end, it's like they don't even know that they shouldn't be here right now. Like, they're completely clueless, but they're playing as if they do belong because it's just this
A
foolish
foolish
belief that
belief
they
within
have
the players. Is that what you're
within the
saying?
players. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Like a foolish confidence, but that's what I saw out of the U20s when they did what they did. But no, I think you make a great point in them being involved and how these things actually mean something. It means something to us. It might not mean something to the rest of the world who's like, we very realistically could go win a World Cup this year. Great. Well, that's not where we are. We want to compete. And so you like to see it, and you like to hear about it too. But let's take a break, come back. We got some Premier League conversation. We're talking about Tottenham a little bit earlier. The Spurs just sacked their manager. They have been a bad run of form, I think, is an understatement, as opposed
And in
to, you know,
history.
and in history, how they've been doing lately. But we'll take a break here really quickly, come back. We'll talk a little bit about the Spurs on the other side here on Inside the Game.
Experience the thrill of the game like never before with NSN's Game Rewind.
Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics.
Letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail.
Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play,
NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate.
call 586-304-4405
And start watching today.
And a warm welcome back Inside the Game, episode 227. Nate Wangler, Ryan Glinsky here on this beautiful day. Let's talk a little bit about Tottenham. I thought I saw this on your list. I was reading about it this morning. You put his Arsenal obsession too, but Tottenham sacked Frank yesterday. Talk about it a little bit, Ryan.
Yeah, Frank's just his last name. Thomas Frank gets the sack, and it's the most Tottenham thing to do. I mean, you win your first trophy in like 15 years with Ainge, and again, that may have been the worst soccer game I've ever watched in my life. Tottenham versus Manchester United. Those were just two shit teams that somehow ended up in the final together and played the most unattractive brand of soccer I think I've ever played, and even the goals that went in, just the most ugly brand of soccer I've ever seen. Like, that game might have set soccer back by like 30 years, that game. But anyway, they win, and Ainge, is in the trophy celebration, and he goes, what's better than season 2 is season 3, meaning that he's going to come back for his third season.
It's like Signetti.
Yeah, and just for him to get fired by Tottenham, and he didn't even make it to season 3. So he said how great season 3 would be, and he doesn't even make it to season 3, even though he won Tottenham's first trophy, and I think it was since like 2008, 2007, something like that, where they won a League Cup, but they win a European trophy. It's Europa League. Everyone kind of clowns on it, but it's a European trophy, and a lot of big clubs like Manchester United flex that thing. So, you know what? That's exactly what you do. And then they bring in Thomas Frank, who did a fine job with Brentford. He did a really good job. In his entire time there, Brentford was truly built on getting producing youth academy players, but also buying players that, very cheap, and then eventually developing them and turning them into something so they can sell them for a much higher price. And that's how they were able to sustain the club. And that's a fine way to do it. That's how a lot of clubs that have to that's how they have to operate. That's how they sustain a lot of things. And so that happened. And then Thomas Frank, who again, he's a fine manager, but it's just the timing of, sacking Ange and then bringing in Thomas Frank and then having the horrible start that they did, and now they're in the bottom 5. And they're in a relegation fight, which is so awesome. But it's like Tottenham, you just had it. You just finally got to something you were wanting so desperately for 15 years. Then you get rid of the
Right.
guy. And then
Yeah.
the other part of the conversation of what I'm seeing, what I've been reading here this morning about it, is a lot of the memes about him holding the Arsenal paper cup before one of the games in Tottenham Arsenal, massive rivals. But
Yeah.
then players saying he just wouldn't shut up about Arsenal, about how good they were and how they did this. So the thing is Arsenal's kind of becoming a standard for a lot of teams of how they operate and all that fun stuff. That's a different
Yeah.
conversation. But
Yeah.
he just kept talking about him. He just kept talking about him, talking about him, talking about him. But it wasn't like a traditional American, like you talk about them because you hate them and here's what they're doing. We need to do this. It was just, dude, look how good they are. Look what they're doing.
Yeah.
Look what happened in this game. Look at that. Like it wasn't the traditional Michigan Ohio State hatred where Ohio State's doing this. We have to do this. We have to stop it. They run this trick play. No, or what Charles Woodson says, where they every single day at practice they would run some sort of install that is similar to what Ohio State's doing, so they're ready for the game. That's different. But this is just like, dude, shut up about Arsenal. We don't play them every single week. They're our rivals, yes. But then when we play them, we lose 4-1 and we get killed. So, no, it's just so funny to me to see that an incompetent club just trying to be something that they're not, trying to be the smartest guy in the room, and they just continue to suck and suck and suck, and it's just awesome.
I think, yeah, it feels like admiration maybe trying to lead to inspiration, like just looking at the way that Arsenal does things and being like, hey, maybe we should try that out, because it's clearly
a lot of
from
Europe
what we've
says
seen.
That. It's not just.
Oh yeah, clearly from what we've seen, like it's the machine that they've created. And again, let's draw an equivalent to American sports. It's kind of like the Dodgers. Even before they started spending $2 billion, like their development and their player identification and their ability to do what every organization so desperately wants to do, but sometimes lacks the ability to do because they can't earmark good talent and they can't develop. And that's buy low and sell high, right? You buy low and you sell high. You bring them in, you develop them, and then you trade them or you sell them and you get something big out of them. The Dodgers were always so good at that because they just had all the resources. They had a personal chef that followed all their guys to everywhere they went. So Arsenal's created a machine. So I don't blame the fact that he might sound a little obsessed. Truth is, I think, as you said, most of Europe would want to be like that. But yeah, for Tottenham, the worst win percentage for him, for any manager for the club since 2008, just 27%. If the club didn't release him, pretty sure Spurs supporters would have just ripped him out of there anyways. Many of the issues predate him taking over at the squad. However, the time has come for him to be released, but I just think that it sets up what will probably be a pretty dicey near future here for Tottenham. And I don't know if you would even know or think to know who the interim might be in the meantime before they're able to go out and get somebody. But yeah, just a real big backslide for that organization. He's already been at Tottenham, so I mean, I feel like that.
There.
Yeah, I feel like he wouldn't be. He had one of the best win percentages of any manager since 2008. So I think he would be
the best manager since then.
Oh yeah, so
The
I mean,
best.
I could see him certainly coming back. So yeah, bad run of form as of late. And again, eight straight matches they've lost. That's the most since 2008 as well.
I saw a meme the other day of the Champions League final that Tottenham and Liverpool was in, and they said that's exactly what the Super Bowl that we just watched was. Yeah, to be fair, that's kind of right. The Patriots would have been Tottenham, just like somehow got in the rights, just lucked into it, and then Liverpool was actually good. Seahawks were actually good, but no, it's weird that like ever since Poch left and he created some legends at that club. Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, Dele Alli. Even Alderweireld and Vertonghen were very good. Hugo Lloris, another one. Kyle Walker was there for a little bit before he got sold ultimately to Man City. But the style – so the issue with, the style of which Thomas Frank came in with of developing youth prospects and all that fun stuff, of going to a club like that, it's a change of ideology. Because you now are expected to go out and spend $50 million plus on a player. That's expected. That's not like you might do that and everyone freaks out about it. No, that's expected. Yeah, the best teams produce youth players and buy high world-class players at the same time. That's the best teams in the world do that. Shout out Real Madrid, shout out Barcelona, shout out Man City, shout out Arsenal. That's what those clubs do. Even Bayern Munich's another one. That's what those clubs do. And Tottenham doesn't have the best academies. I mean, yeah, when Poch was there, they were developing guys out of the academy, but Poch has been long gone. But the change of ideology like that, it's almost like a group of five coach from the MAC all of a sudden gets to Michigan, and it's like, what do you mean I'm supposed to spend $3 million plus on an 18-year-old quarterback just so he can come here? Like, that doesn't happen. So it's a little bit of a change of ideology where you're used of developing players, and sports fans, since after COVID, everything has been, well, you got to get everything turned around and within a year or 2 years. And we talked about it with college football and college basketball, what that's like. In the NFL, yeah, that's true. But it happens in all sports now. Managers aren't given the time that they need. The last manager that was given time and turned something around was Arteta. So it's like that doesn't happen anymore. And to bring a manager like that, you got to bring in a manager. Honestly, if I was Tottenham, I'd go after Enzo Maresca at this point. That's where I'm going at the former Chelsea manager because, A, he did a fine job with Chelsea this year. He was fine. He was in the top four. He was in a title race for like 2 weeks. And eventually they fell off and he gets sacked. And now he's on the free market. But the thing is he doesn't – Maresca might want to wait for the Man City job just based on what does Pep do after the season. That's a different discussion. But if I'm Tottenham going all in to Enzo Maresca to be the next permanent manager. But interim, I have no idea. They haven't even looked, could care less who it is.
The ball boy.
15th. Yeah, maybe. But if I'm looking at a permanent manager, I'm going after Maresca. And it's – but the thing is I don't know if he wants it because nobody really wants the Tottenham job. It's almost like – nobody really wanted the Lion job for so long. Yeah, it's an NFL job, and there's only 32 of them in the NFL, or in the world, excuse me. But nobody truly wants the job. It's like the Browns, where the Browns struck out this year like 5 different times, and they ended up on Todd Monken, who hasn't coached in the NFL before. But no, it's I love it for Tottenham because they just continue to suck, and it's amazing.
I mean, the likelihood of Mauricio Pochettino being the next guy, in your opinion? 0?
Yeah. Look where we're at right now. It's February 11th. If any manager that still has desires to go back and manage clubs in Europe, and they're international managers, they're not doing it. They're not doing it till after the World Cup. Look, Poch is going to be gone after this World Cup. And everybody knows that. I think the U.S. Federation knew that. The only reason Poch was brought here is so they could say, do not embarrass us in front of the whole world on home soil. That's the sole reason. They saw Copa America, and it was a disaster. We win the first game, then Tim Weah punches a dude. We lose to Panama, and then we lose to Uruguay. So we're out. We get grouped at home. So that's the sole reason why Pochettino was brought here, so we don't get embarrassed. Maybe for some reason Pochettino, absolutely loves the Miracle on Ice movie so much where he's like, I need to be here. Maybe. But the odds of Pochettino being at Tottenham is 0 at this point because Tottenham is going to do the most Tottenham thing, and they're going to go hire a permanent manager. And then if you were to hire him in the summer, you lose a whole summer of recruitment and trying to strategize and try to build your team for the fall of 2026 to 2027. So, no, Pochettino, a 0% chance he goes back to Tottenham. Now, you ask me this question next year and he gets sacked, maybe we have a different discussion. But as of February 11th, 2026, there's no way it happens.
Yeah, sources said that Spurs are reluctant to make a change due to an acknowledgement that many of the issues at the club had predate Frank, and he has been unfortunate to suffer the volume of injuries that he has. And they have been injury prone, but
they still suck.
Yeah, last season finished 17th in the league, but won their first trophy in 17 years, as you were talking about with the Europa League in May after beating Man United, oddly enough, 1-0 in the final.
16th.
Yeah.
The worst game of soccer I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. So, a team that was desperately in need of a change. But it felt like this was something that was growing. And even before they appointed Frank as the new manager, we can admit that some of these issues were already building before he had even arrived there. Like, really
Nate,
since the early
you just
2000s.
won. It's like if the Lions fired Dan Campbell after winning 2 playoff games. That's basically what it was. Like you can't fire a manager who just won your first trophy in 17 years. You can't do that. And that's exactly what happened.
You thought it was a situation where maybe like ownership thought they just like stumbled into it or something.
The ownership
that
is
is
just bad.
confusing in my mind.
The ownership is
Yeah.
just horrible. Ask any manager that has managed there before. They talk about Jose Mourinho, Pochettino, like any manager that has ever managed there. I forgot the names, but he's a bald head and he got glasses. He looks like he's got a golf ball as a head. I forget his name, but the management is so bad at Tottenham. Nobody wants it. It's like Martha Ford running stuff. It's how bad it is.
Yeah. And that, I guess that makes sense.
Obviously, we're trying to get to the 10 o'clock hour here. Let's do a couple of mailbag questions before we get.
Yeah, let's do it. I didn't even think about mailbag. We haven't done mailbag in a minute.
We just gained a new follower on TikTok, Diego.nyc. Shout out to you for following. We're now up to 1209. Look, we're trying to get to 2,000 before the World Cup, and we got 4 months to do so. So we need just under 800 followers in 4 months. That means 200 a month. Jeez, it's lofty goals. But you know what? Let's do it. So this one was backing towards the Pulisic video I made yesterday. Pulisic back into the EPL. This one from Vittorio. He doesn't fit in the Premier League. He should stick to the Serie A. That's exactly what I said. This one from Castro Football. He said he needs to stay in Milan. Milan is a bigger club than all those other clubs. Tottenham, yes. Arsenal, yes. Liverpool? No, I'd still go Liverpool. I think Liverpool's a bigger club than AC Milan. Milan, I'd still rocking with Liverpool. I'm about to comment to that one for him.
And like we said earlier, I mean, I think he's in a really, really good spot. And sometimes when you try to get better than good, that you get in trouble. When you're in a good spot, like don't fix what isn't broken. And right now it isn't broken for Pulisic, and he's the man there. So I think it's a great choice for him to stick around and see it through.
Other, that's just his name. Other. Won't say he isn't good enough. Premier League is too physical, and Serie A fits his style better. Probably should go to La Liga if moving. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think he could go to a La Liga. Just don't go to a Real Madrid or a Barcelona. Or even Atletico. Honestly, yeah, if you're not going to that, don't even go to La Liga. Yeah, so don't even go to La Liga if you're Pulisic.
Yeah.
Okay, this one I saw yesterday. This is about pressure building diamonds for the U.S. men's national team. And I think this is referring to Pulisic and McKennie having to constantly prove themselves. This is from Gilberto Aguilar. As a professional player, he's always fighting for that new contract. I mean, even Messi has to do that for a contract. All pros go through this. What makes these guys so special? Nothing. They just have to work hard like everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You have to earn your keep. You have to earn your spot. I mean, I understand that. But when you're the best player on the team, what feels like year in and year out. I mean, have you not proved it? Has his track record not shown it? I mean, like, you pull up the numbers. Like, that's the thing that's a little ridiculous. It just seems odd to us when we look at it. And again, this is coming from the players' mouths too. This whole bias thing and the pressure that's on their shoulders. It's not just coming from us. I have no experience with that. I'm pulling from what I know, which is what they're saying.
This one coming from this is about top 25 players playing in the top flights. From Finn. He says it's generally not a bad squad now. I think a few years ago the floor level of the squad was awful, but there are quite a lot of Premier League players who can all hold their own. Yeah, I think now the floor is definitely up from, a 2020, 2014, a 2018 squad. Like, look, if they made the 2018 World Cup, I think we would have gotten grouped regardless of if we made it or not. 2022, I honestly think the floor is definitely gotten up now. I think because before it was see, I really can't say the floor is up because we haven't proven it yet. Until we prove it, but it feels, again, when I talked about McGonagall, I have to see it to believe it for certain things. I would say it feels like the floor of the men's national team is the round of 16 in terms of a World Cup. And it feels like the floor of a Copa America for us is the semifinals, but we've done that before.
Yeah.
Now we just got to go out there and prove it. Like, our talent is definitely better. I think that the way we eventually have to play, instead of just sitting everybody back and behind the ball and defending, it's definitely not that level anymore. I think we can definitely try to be a little bit more risky, a little bit more adventurous, I guess, if you want to say those are the right words. We can be a little bit more aggressive is, I think, the better terminology there. I don't have a thesaurus on my computer like Nate does for this show. But no, I think that you can change the style of play a little bit more. Like, look at the England game, look at the Netherlands game. But no, I think we have to just see it to believe it. I think the floor is definitely risen, but we have to see it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think in terms of floor, like, compare your worst player from 2018, or even if you want to go further back than that, but we'll just go back to 2018. Like, compare your worst player then to your worst player now. Like, it is, plus with what we talked about yesterday with 25 players being in top flight leagues, like, that number only continues to go up with every year. So I think the floor itself only continues to improve. But you're right, like, it's going to take this team getting somewhere where they haven't gone before in order to actually cement that and make people believe that, which is why the 26 World Cup, again, means everything. Means everything for this team, means everything for this country, means everything for U.S. soccer. It is the biggest opportunity for us to show what we learned from 2022, where we went wrong with trusting someone like Greg Berhalter, and also that crop of players that we sent that year. They're all 4 years older. They're all 4 years smarter. They've had that much more experience playing in these leagues. Like, this is their opportunity to prove to everybody. So, yeah.
This one from Doing It Our Way. This coming from Noodles. Great Madagascar profile photo, by the way. He said, I've always thought the pathway to pro in the U.S. follows exactly what the NBA and NFL, the NBA and NFL route. Telling these talented kids the only way to go pro is by making it to the college level. Meanwhile, kids in Europe at 15, 16, and younger, if they're good enough, are being involved in and around the first team practice. The U.S. doesn't care about growing the youth. They care about the money that's involved in these youth leagues. Yeah, that's a fair point. I would say that statement carries a little bit more weight probably 5 or 6 years ago. But I think now we're waking up to this idea that, look, if this isn't any disrespect to any college players out there, but if you are going to college to play soccer, that is much different than an academy player at an MLS, Next Pro, a USL Academy, or anything overseas, because anyone in the academies, that's a pro environment. That is basically teaching you the pro lifestyle of training and everything. Yeah, there's a little bit of school involved if you're young. Yeah, there's a little bit of school involved if you're young. But it's the treatment, the stretching, the weightlifting, the film room, the games and the practices, obviously. College, what do you have? You have, well, Thirsty Thursdays. That's one that I was involved with a lot. If it turns 50 degrees and sunny, you're drinking outside. Also, I was involved in that. But you have class. You still have some aspect of film, games, training. You have some aspect of that. But you're only playing from August to, if you're lucky, November, October, if you're lucky. But you only play that. There's no winter season. There's no spring season. You're just playing your sport, which, again, college soccer is still a high level. This isn't disrespecting anything. But you're playing that for a small amount of time. But while that's going on, I get it. There's off-season stuff. I get that. But at the same time, those players in Europe or in these academies in America, guess what they're doing? The same thing year-round with training, games, film. But so what college is doing is just a little quarter of the year. But the rest of the world does it for full 365, or maybe a month or two off here and there. But that's why that's so much better. And to say that they care about the money, well, that's also our American society. So yes, that is true.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, and you got to make the money. I mean, if you're an organization, I understand it. Now, obviously, if that goes too far, then that's a completely different story. But no, American football, that's a completely that's its own thing. That stands on its own because it's so popular that the majority of schools have football. Obviously, like it would be odd. You never know how the body is going to develop in terms of the sport of football. You don't American football, not soccer. Simply because, yeah, okay, baby Gronk. Let's get baby Gronk into our development program. Oh, and it turns out he's only 5'9". Well, okay, I guess he's not going to the NFL anymore. Like, you never know how the body's going to develop over time. So American football is a completely different beast. Now, basketball is becoming much more like that. Basketball even now is becoming much more like that with these showcases and these travel
They play
teams
a lot more
and
games than
these
practices.
yeah, AAU. I mean, like there's a lot more in terms of that and the money side than what there ever used to be. And believe you
AAU is
me,
slowly ruining
you're not
basketball in America.
you are not going anywhere if you're just simply playing high school basketball. So it is, and they say better training and better development and better blah 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 blah. It's not always the truth, but it's not always the truth in soccer too. So it's they're both starting to become that way, and baseball is becoming that way. So anyways, and yes, you have teams and organizations earmarking kids far sooner than what they ever have. So any other comments you wanted to drop in here before we take a break?
No, we're good. Muted myself before I did that. Tell us. No, we're all good. Tell us about Barca.
All right. Barca Academy is a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network and the official academy of FC Barcelona in the United States. Designed for boys and girls ages 6 to 18, Barca Academy camps follow and replicate the FC Barcelona game model. Same philosophy used by Barca's professional coaching staff. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code FCB30. Again, that's FCB30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you at fcbarcelona.us/camps.
In Barca camp, I sing my song grown on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca camp.
And with that, we say welcome to our second hour here on Inside the Game, the all sports section of our show. Also, we have an interview coming up today on Inside the Game. Very excited for another guest. I know we're bringing on more of them, but Alex Lubianski will be on our show, coach at Detroit Metro FC, also the general manager there, UPSL side. They got a lot of exciting plans. We talk about player development. That seems to be our kind of theme here today on the show, but we're going to talk about that and what opportunities that they are providing for kids in the sport of soccer right here in the Mitten State. Also, wanted to let you guys know that tomorrow I will not be on the show. I will be stepping away for tomorrow's show, but we got Jackson stepping in that will be helping us on that one with Ryan tomorrow. He actually calls games here at the network, so he's been doing the correction on that. Who do you have joining you again tomorrow?
Jack Lowry.
It is Jack Lowry. That's it. Okay, sorry. We got a couple of different people. But yes, we'll be doing the show with Ryan tomorrow. So he's a ball of energy, man. I like his stuff. I like his content. I've been watching a lot of what he's doing. So excited for him to get the opportunity to work with us. And be a part of the NSN fam. But anyways, moving on to our all sports content here in hour number 2. Ryan, it is one of those things that I'm sure there was a tear that ran across a lot of people's faces yesterday.
Before we do that, we got a comment about our last from YouTube from your friend here, Shock Media. Yes, Justin Verlander.
Oh boy, he's back.
Means Kate Upton's back at the games. We love it. Anyway, your guy Schrock said travel baseball is very comparable to AAU basketball. Lots of tournaments where guys that need the development through playing experience are not getting it. Yeah, that's true. AAU basketball. Again, I can't really explain for the travel baseball side, but AAU basketball is, I would say, ruining American basketball. It 100% is. Anyone that says it isn't is lying because AAU, you are playing 10 times more than you are practicing. And you have to practice certain things. And you can see that translating in certain college basketball teams and certain high school teams and some NBA teams, I guess you could say. Also, Steph Curry's the reason for some of that. But no, it's a lot of one-on-one. It's not a lot of, what's the offense look like? How do we move the ball as a team? It's a lot of let's run up and down. As much as I love running in basketball, that's not how you develop a team in basketball. What's it like with your ball handling? Taking actual good shots, not just chucking up threes to chuck threes. But no, you're right. AAU basketball is definitely ruining the game of basketball. Especially in America.
No one. Well, and it almost kind of reminds me a little bit, and I got to, and I was telling you about, I got to cover like JUCO basketball recently, and it had the same kind of feel and vibe to it. Like it was very much NBA coded, in the way that they moved and the way that they just kind of flew up and down the floor. And don't get me wrong, I mean, like it was fast, entertaining play, and even like broadcasting it, like doing G League games, like sitting there, it's like, yeah, this is just it's not good basketball. It's entertaining as hell. Don't get me wrong. Like they're athletic to where they can make plays and do things. You're like, wow, that was impressive. But all it is, it's just a high screening. It's a high screening league now, and that's the way it is now. It's one screen and roll, and then everything else beyond that is just kind of who's who, who cares,
or a stagger,
or pin down.
Staggers
just get open.
Really popular.
Or just ISOs, really. I mean, that's all it is. I mean, as much as, I think it's corny the way that, LeBron always like has the book out and he's pretending to read and he's like doing all this stuff. It's like a wealth of wisdom over here. But
What's
he
your
did
favorite
talk
part
about how
the Malcolm X book. He just has it open.
But I think he talked about it one time on his freaking barbershop show, whatever the hell he's got. I don't know. I see the clips. I don't actually watch it, but he mentioned how nowadays it's all about ones. These kids all want to run ones. That's what it is. Like it's not 5-on-5. It's not a team game. It's just one, me versus you, and so that is the mentality in basketball now. And so that's what's kind of turned people off from it. But a lot of that because of the AAU game. That's just how it is. It's like out, get yours, get your highlights, get your whatever, and then just move on with it.
I like how you mentioned highlights. It's a very highlight. We're a very highlight generation.
Middle schoolers have highlights now. Like
the top 6th grader in the world. He's a top 5 6th grader in basketball. No, it's stupid. But I forgot the UConn women's coach mentioned it like on a panel or something.
Yeah,
and he used to coach AAU, and he said that if we look at Europe, they play 1 game a week but practice 5. In America, we play 5 games for 1 practice. And he goes, I was coaching an AAU team once, and these 2 kids told me they weren't coming back. And he goes, I'm confused because you play so much here, we're winning games. It's not like we're getting killed all the time. And he's like, why are you leaving? They're like, well, because they play more games, and I want to play more games to get myself out there. That's not also development, but just a great question and a great. I'm sure we could talk about it for like a whole day about youth sports in America.
Yeah, well, and we've gone so far as to just be like we could just lean on our athleticism. Like that's all we need to do. We're athletes, and so we're gonna out athlete everybody, and that's just kind of the way. But yeah, anyways, what I was trying to say earlier, Justin Verlander is back. Tigers will bring him back here on a 1-year deal. And that too. But obviously someone that a lot of people in Detroit sports fandom is emotionally connected to, because of what he did when at the beginning of his career and all the memories that he delivered, and making runs to the World Series, and was really a part of the greatest iteration of Tigers baseball in my lifetime, leading up to obviously what we have going on now. And so you almost kind of want to cling to the idea that maybe this is like a team of destiny type thing. Like, this seems like the moment now that he's back. And I laughed so hard because I was listening to Mike Valenti the other day, and he goes, "What does Justin Verlander being back mean?" Well, it means we're going to the World Series and we're winning the World Series. And I'm like, what?
Yep.
Whoa, hold on now.
Yeah, he was amped. I've never seen him amped about a Tigers move before.
He was dead serious. And I'm like, whoa, okay, all right. Like, because typically Valenti's the voice of reason. Valenti is the wet towel on your hot take. That's who Mike Valenti is. He likes to bring it back down to earth a little bit. So to see him that fired up, I think was hilarious. But I think a lot of people in Detroit share the same sentiment. He's still a productive pitcher. He can still, obviously he's not what he was, but just picturing a scenario in which we just throw JV out there in like a playoff game in which we need him and he gets it done. And man, you talk about a cherry on top.
He goes full games in the ALDS. I'm just saying he doesn't.
Yeah, let's see if he goes. Let's see if he goes 12 innings the way that Ryan wants starters to go 12 innings. 12 innings or bust.
I didn't say that. I just said you should go 8 in a win or go home. And if you want $40 million and you're gonna bitch and complain, you gotta do $40 million worth.
Let's just say we could play the hypothetical game all we want, but that's all it is. It's just hypotheticals.
He
what if he goes back out there and gets slacked?
On his last
100
pitch.
pitches is a lot of pitches.
And he threw gas. He threw 100 mph.
Oh, his elbow nearly left the chat. But I don't know. And I don't know if Verlander being back in Detroit hits as close to home for you as it does maybe for some other people, simply because I know that you were really young the last time he was in Detroit.
No, I recall it all. I recall those World Series and those playoff runs. I just would say is at a 43-year-old, a pitcher, I just hope that he's not, because obviously we want him for the playoffs. That to me, that's ultimately how I'm viewing this, is we're getting another stud in the playoffs. I just hope, because obviously Reese Olson is most likely out for the year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that we don't overuse him, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I don't maybe he doesn't go every 5 days. Maybe he goes every 7 or 8 days. I mean, I don't really know how AJ Hinch does it, but I said 7 or 8, not 6 or 7. But all I'll say is this. It's another chess piece for Feder and Hinch. That's what it is. And we bitch and moan about the bats all the time, and rightfully so. And now we got to put a ton of faith in people who hasn't had a single at bat in the MLB. McGonigal, Max Clark, Briseño, whoever it is. But it's a chess piece in any it's in our rotation, in our bullpen now. And what does AJ Hinch and Feder do better than anybody in the MLB? Pitching, and shouldn't say know how to use them, because shout out Game 5 of the ALDS. But they do great matchups all the time. Lefty on lefty, righty on righty. Like, it's almost annoying at certain times, because it's like, oh my God, guys, we got to go to another commercial break for another pitching change. Sometimes it's annoying, but sometimes you start a Kiter Montero to start a day off, So it's just another chess piece that we can use, and especially with our rotation of, I'm losing track of who our starting pitchers are. JV, Skubal, Flaherty, Valdez, Charlie Melton. Yeah, Charlie Melton, not Troy. And the other guy, Mize. Yeah, I'm forgetting our starting pitchers now because there's so many. And now Olson's dead for the year, and maybe Job comes back at the second half of the year. But no, it's another chess piece for these guys to use, and that's their strength. So I guess you might as well strengthen your strengths than your holes, I guess. I didn't really know where I was going with that one, but I guess that makes sense.
Charlie Morton, by the way.
Morton.
Troy Melton. Morton. Charlie Morton. We got a Morton and a Melton, so I can see where that
Charlie
would
Morton.
get confusing.
But he was good. He was good in the playoffs.
But no, he's a great. Listen, at his age, he's not going to be like a top of the line starter. He's not going to go really deep into games. He's probably a long relief guy. But what I will say is that this reeks to me, Ryan, of an organization that is piling on as much as they can with the pitchers, whether that be Framber Valdez or now Justin Verlander. They are equipping themselves for the inevitable, which the inevitable in my mind is a split from Tarek Skubal. They are putting things in there for when that moment eventually comes around. So I've seen those conspiracies. I've seen those ideas. I don't really think it's a shocker. I don't think that really comes as like massive groundbreaking news to anybody that might be why they're doing this. But I tend to believe that the Tigers right now are stacking pitchers because they tend to think that relationship is going to come to a conclusion with Tarek Skubal. And so I think the move to get JV back in Detroit was, number one, I think it was symbolic, obviously because of what he means to the city. I think also he realizes that now is the time, like strike when the iron's hot. Now is the time that this team is potentially going to make a push towards the World Series. Plus getting away from the previous regime, I'm sure helped a lot. But so it's symbolic in one way, but I think there is an other side to this, which is, again, they're preparing themselves. You know how when you know something might come to an end, and so you just do everything that you can to make sure that you soften the blow, like you just, whatever that situation is in life. That's where the Tigers are at right now. And that's, I think it's the perfect distraction, Ryan, in a lot of ways, because we're so busy celebrating Justin Verlander being back that we're not really thinking about what this means on the other end, which it might mean that Tarek Skubal's not on this team for very long.
It's almost like they are trying to soften the blow for Tigers fans that, hey, we brought
sweeten
back
the pot a
Justin
little bit
Verlander for you. And it's like, but in less than a year, Skubal is going to be out of here. But it's like, hey, we had Justin Verlander for a year, man. Like that's what it feels like. But no, I don't even know if we, because everyone talks about the bats, and I think if we're trying to go all in, we need another bat. Maybe McGonigal's the guy. Maybe Max Clark's the guy. Maybe Briseño's the guy. I don't really know, but we haven't seen it. But is there even anyone out in free agency left that's a bat that maybe we could use, or maybe we go and try to trade, or is the bat coming from the trade deadline? Because that's also a very strong possibility. Is the bat coming from, where's JD Martinez at nowadays? Can we go get him? Like, bring back the whole band. Maybe trade for Jose Iglesias. I don't know who else is still playing. Scherzer? Can we get him?
So the top remaining free agents, Cody Bellinger is on that list. I don't think we need any help in the outfield.
No, I wouldn't say that.
So that Eugenio Suarez,
bring him back. Let's bring the band back together.
That's what I'm saying. And he plays third base, right? So if we're talking about plugging a need, did you say Prince Fielder?
Yes, he's still out there.
I think he's out there, but I don't know if he's out there in the
when
regards
did he leave
in
the
which
league? Like
we're talking about.
2015, 2016?
Something like that. Yeah, I think, that makes sense. JV, obviously, who just got picked up by the Tigers. And then I think that's it for this, at least this list that I'm looking at on CBS Sports. Then it goes into trade pieces. So Brett Beatty could be a trade piece for the Mets. Third baseman could be someone that we could acquire. Brendan Donovan, second baseman.
Landon Donovan.
So Landon Donovan, hell yeah, and that hairpiece he's got going on. Yeah, there you go. But I mean that's it. I would assume he's more of a trade asset for this Tigers team rather than, well, he is a trade asset. But anyways, like who they would get in that situation, because again, they're not going to be. I don't see a situation in which the Tigers are sellers at the deadline. I don't like.
If we're trash,
you're in a division,
we're historically bad.
But man, they can't be, right? Because they're in a trash, not a trash, but they're in a division that is very
it's
weak.
A trash division.
Come on, man. I do play by play. I'm trying not to
We have $100 million tied up in starting pitcher. That's like the same as the whole Twins payroll.
Yeah. So we're spending a lot of money. So it 100% should be our division. So I don't see a situation in which the Tigers are at all sellers at the deadline. However, if you have the best possible piece to sell, now I think the conversation becomes who could you get in terms of a haul in return for Tarek. It's the same conversation we had a year ago, only this time you realize that this is it, So now in terms of trade targets, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know who would be immediately on top of my list.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's like, what's funny? You know how we like bitch and moan about the Dodgers deferring money? You see how the JV Verlander or Justin Verlander contracts handed out? 11 million deferred in 2030. Hey, the Tigers are doing it too. Let's go, Chris. The Tigers are deferring money. We love it.
Yep. And if the strategy works, it works. And so I think for the Tigers, just putting their money where their mouth is, I mean, is huge. Here's a couple of other names on here that Luis Arias is still a free agent. We talked about Eugenio Suarez would be nice. He was kind of the focus of the last trade deadline. A lot of Tigers fans thought we should have gotten 80 Diamondbacks. Yep. A lot of people thought we should have gotten him before the playoffs.
In the playoffs, I'll tell you that.
He did. Yeah, he wasn't very good in the playoffs, but a lot of pitchers on here, but seems fairly dry at the moment. So Austin Hayes too, but so it's kind of barren at the moment. But again, you have the best trade asset available to you. Let's take a quick break here on the show. I know we got to come back and get to our conversation. The one, the only, Alex Lubianski, general manager and coach at Detroit Metro FC, will be joining us on the show. But as we take a break here, let's tell you a little bit about Man City Soccer Camps. They're a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, bringing world-class training inspired by Man City's global football philosophy to players across the United States. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, these camps focus on technical development, decision-making, and playing the game the City way. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code MCNSN30, and that's MCNSN30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you at usacamps.mancity.com. And welcome back in on Inside the Game here, hour number 2 on the National Soccer Network. Again, we are expecting to talk to Alex Lubianski, GM and coach at Detroit Metro FC, here coming up shortly at about 10:30. But first, let's get into our favorite new segment here on the show, Who to Betta. And you got a good one today, Ryan.
Yep, who to betta? We're going football. I just realized we keep this pretty Detroit related. But anyway, Aiden Hutchinson of the Detroit Lions versus Micah Parsons. And let's just check some of the numbers. Of course, Micah has been in the league much longer with the Cowboys, but let's look at Hutch's numbers. A two-time Pro Bowler in 2023, 11.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 1 interception, 51 total tackles. And then last season, of course, we can't say 2024 because he only played like 5 games. But in 2025, 14.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 1 pick, 54 total tackles. And in his postseason, in 3 games, 3 sacks, and 10 total tackles. On the other hand, Micah Parsons, now Green Bay Packer, a 5-time Pro Bowler, some with the Cowboys, a 3-time first teamer in 2023, 14 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 64 tackles, 2025, 12.5 sacks, 2 forced fumble, 41 tackles, and in his postseason, in 5 games, 18 tackles, and 1 sack. So the question becomes, who to better between these two?
This is the same conversation as we had with Tarek Skubal and
Paul Skeens.
Paul Skeens. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Same exact conversation. Right now, give me Micah Parsons. I think the havoc that Micah Parsons can wreak in a backfield is unbelievable. I think he's a standalone edge rusher to where, yeah, I mean, if you have someone on the opposite side, great, but he alone can absolutely wreak havoc on a quarterback. And so if you're giving me one just right in this moment, I would say it's Micah Parsons. Now, obviously, the All Pros, clearly he's more accomplished, he's more polished. Head to head, I would go with him. However, Hutchinson over time could eventually get to that point. And you looked at the numbers, obviously have improved this year and had better numbers than Micah, although Micah Parsons has obviously had his issues with injuries, and both of them have. And I think it's a fairly brutal position, being an edge rusher, just simply because you're going up against the biggest guy on the other side of the line. And a lot of times, especially on a lot of those pulls and kick out blocks and stuff, you can get smashed sometimes, and we've seen that against Hutch. And of course, Micah Parsons is just a mass of a human being. But if I'm going with someone right now, I'll go with Micah Parsons. I think over time, though, Aiden Hutchinson can certainly surpass what we've seen from Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I'm going Micah. I think Micah does a whole lot more than Hutchinson. And yeah, you can argue, well, Hutchinson doesn't have an opposite edge rusher of him, and Micah has Rashawn Gary, and Rashawn Gary is a really good second edge rusher. And I also think, though, that it comes down to this. I think the Lions use Hutchinson wrong. I think the Lions should start using Hutchinson like a Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is a chess piece for the Packers, all front, all along that defensive front, that front seven. He sometimes lines up over the center. Sometimes you see him down in a 3-point stance. Sometimes you see him standing up on the outside, on the edge there, and he gets home. Micah creates a ton of havoc, and you know what? A lot of people say for Hutch, oh, he gets double team. He does this. Well, you know what? Micah gets double team, and guess what he does? He creates havoc and still gets home. You can say the pressure's all you want, sure. But also, Micah is hurt right now. A torn ACL, I believe, is what his injury is. But if I'm looking at Micah versus Hutchinson head-to-head, I'm looking at Micah Parsons 100%, and I think that he is a better player than Aiden Hutchinson. And as I say that, we have our guest, Alex, on. We're going to head to a quick break real quick. We'll bring Alex on immediately after this commercial break, so don't go anywhere.
Experience the thrill that came like never before with NSN's Game Rewind.
Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics,
Letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail.
whether it's a championship win or a legendary play.
NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate.
Call 586-304-4405
And start watching today.
Welcome back in on the National Soccer Network, episode 227. Joining us here on Inside the Game, Alex Lubianski, GM and coach at Detroit Metro FC. Excited to get the opportunity to talk to you. Welcome on, Coach.
So pumped to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we've obviously talked a lot about what you got going on over there and player development. That's a big topic on our show, especially talking about the youth side here in the United States. But we appreciate you taking the time. Just wanted to start off with a question about some of the things you guys got going on over there at Detroit Metro, and maybe for people who haven't heard about the club, if maybe a few lines of what they should know about you and what you guys do.
Yeah. Happy to talk about our club. It's a young club. On the field, we've only played for one full cycle. That's a fall and a spring season in the UPSL. That said, it's an organization that is many years in the making, and a lot of work has been done strategically behind the scenes for many years before the club launched. So we were very intentional with the release of programming, the release of our information. So the heart of the club was announced early on, and the recent release is something that we have planned for a very long time and are absolutely stoked to roll out, albeit that the recent release really only applies to maybe 0 players, maybe 1. So, that's the topic that I'd love to dive into today, but our whole deal is free soccer. We don't charge anybody. We have never charged anybody, and we never will charge anybody. So pay to play is fantastic. We love it. It's a great model. It's just not ours. And our goal is to create something brand new that truly is based on merit, and everything at this club is earned. And this new rollout is a proper, professionally run amateur side of the club. And there's so much confusion always between, development, pre-pro, pro, amateur, and it's very important that we define these things incredibly well. We are an amateur club that does have NIL players, but we do not have any pros. We have former pros and aspiring pros. And I want to paint it very accurately for everybody.
Yeah.
So, Alex, I was, watching your tryout series on Instagram, the Instagram Reels, which 9-part series. If you guys have never watched it, make sure you head watch it, because I really, really enjoyed it. But you talked about it in some of those that you just kind of mentioned: honesty, merit, club not for sale, free tryouts. Let your football do your talking, which our European fans will like that I said football instead of soccer. They don't typically like us calling it soccer. But tell me, what was kind of the thought process to start that tryout series for your club, Detroit Metro?
Well, my entire life I've spent inside of 2 realms, the law and soccer, or football. I'm Ukrainian. I was born in Ukraine. So in the U.S., I've been part of soccer my entire life. I love it. Nothing makes me happier, nothing electrifies me more than helping be part of the growth of the sport in the U.S. So the tryout series is really, it's not just the way that Detroit Metro runs tryouts. Much like everything that we are putting out there, we want it to be copied, bettered, stolen, whatever you want to call it. It's just flattery to us. So rather than keep our standard operating procedures to ourselves, we're building in public. We are telling our story responsibly, without getting into the traps of a lot of organizations that are really ego driven and more, based around looking cool. We know we're very small. We're a UPSL club. It's a men's team. We know exactly what we are and what we are not. So the tryout series, we hope, inspires other organizations to take a real hard look at and take it seriously, because, when there's a barrier to entry from money, it should be for a specific purpose. For example, a professional club, if it really gives tryouts to anybody and everybody, that's a problem. I've been a professional head coach, and you're going to get 10,000 people that show up, and a lot of them are nowhere near qualified. And I'm very honest about that. Where we are, we want people to come, but this year we wanted to get really surgical. Year 1 was about forming. Year 2 is about performing. So I don't want 500 people like we did have last year. I want 50 And I am not reviewing a single video. I am not looking at a single resume. I don't care who your youth coach was. I don't want your mom contacting me. I don't want you contacting me. I have a billable hour. I'm an attorney. I do not have time or energy for anything other than this is our tryout, and you believe in yourself, come to our tryout. And that's why it's free. We're not asking you to pay. We're asking you to know that if you come, you will be told to leave within 30 seconds if you can't touch a ball. And maybe I'm rubbing some people the wrong way. That's kind of the intent, to be fair, because a true tryout should be about a proper assessment of talent in the moment and nothing else. I've been part of those as a player, and my goal is that more organizations run them that way as opposed to running them as a fundraiser, which is what I see way too often.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, how much does, I mean, I guess that is the part of it, right? That can kind of get messy is the politics that are played.
Yeah.
I played for this coach, or I was here before, and so you get preferential treatment because of that. So I like that vision. That the only thing that I can see right now is what I see in front of me. So I do think that's something that's very refreshing. From the perspective of providing fully funded pathways, because I did want to dive into that a little bit, and I think that's a really interesting topic. Do you feel as if sometimes maybe some of the best talent or the most promising talent in the United States is left on the chopping block because of financial struggles or hurdles in which they have to get over to play this game?
Yes, I do. So let me sort of speak 30,000 foot view and take it away from soccer as well, because for example, I watched the movie King Richard with Will Smith, amazing actor. And you look at how did Venus and Serena really get the opportunity to get down there and play. It's a tremendous amount of work by the father to create the opportunity. But there's a great scene in the movie where, the coach of that academy points to a clearly inferior class of tennis player and goes, really, you got to have some chum to fund the Venus and Serena of the world. So there's two parts to that question. One part is opportunity. And in Detroit, where we are located, we are creating that opportunity because, candidly, there is absolutely no actual MLS club in Detroit. It's a 4-hour drive. Yep. So in the US, when you look at what is actually properly fully funded, it's MLS academies, and only very recently, by the way. And if they're fully funded, now let's say you do have the one kid who's 14, who's by far proper professional ready.
Yeah.
I know what I would do with my kids, which is I'd say, son, I love you. I don't want you to leave. I want you to keep going to school. I want you to keep being under our roof, developing under our moral compass until you're ready. And the kid might fight it, and that's fine. And maybe the kid wins the fight. I don't know. I can't project 6 years into the future of what that goes like. But I do know that there is no other option than to say yes right now. And we want to create that other option. So that's what we've done.
Alex, how do you find these players to give these fully funded youth pathways? Are they through your team, or are you trying to just scouting them?
It's an excellent question. So we have an incredible technical staff, very passionate. And the way we're finding it is, you saw step one yesterday. We put out a message to the world, and I've gotten more negative responses than positive, and that's absolutely correct, because once again, this is not for everybody. So if the response is, hey, I'm offended because XYZ, well, you saw the message, and that's great. I don't mind. I'll have an open conversation with anybody. Positive would be, hey, my kid got an offer to go to Inter Miami. My kid is 15. My kid is a center midfielder. My kid is physically adept to play the game at an actual level, and we don't want them to go. Are you willing to take time out of your day to talk to my kid? I'm waiting for that, and I might not get that call. If I get it, I will take the time. If I don't get it, at least I've started the conversation. So that's one, is just putting it out there. Two, yes, we have technical staff that does go out and scout. Now, here comes the challenging part, because I'm very, very able to anticipate what's going to happen next. We'll have a conversation because there are MLS academies, MLS Next academies in our market, a handful, and then a handful that really kind of, in a false way, make it sound like they have it, and they don't. And when that happens, the best players right now have no other choice. So they're playing there. And we do have scouts. Now, our intent, I will be very, very, very clear, is not to go and discourage those players from doing pay-to-play soccer. So I
Yeah.
know there's going to be hesitation, negativity, fear, all of those things. Oh, they're going to go and poach our players. Well, here's the deal. We're never charging anybody anything. We'll never go pay to play. We have no interest in pay to play. So no, we won't. And perhaps the solution would be stay where you are and we will add to what you're already doing. But that would require the club to have an open and honest conversation with us. And we're down for that. We've had it with one of the proper clubs. The other ones, we just haven't had the conversation yet. And I'm open to it today. I'm wide open to the conversation.
And going back on your transparency with players and with parents and with anybody, is how prevalent in your mind is maybe that lack of transparency in your job realm and what you do? It's pretty widespread?
I'll stick to soccer. I'll stay out of law for this one because everyone knows that.
Not that side. Not that side. Yeah, that's right. The soccer conversation.
Within soccer, candidly, I think there's a tremendous amount of dishonesty. I think there's a tremendous amount of manipulation, false advertising. It is rampant. I've seen tryout processes. I've seen player poaching, player recruitment. I've seen the dark side of youth soccer. I've also seen the bright side. And that's a conversation that I don't need to have publicly as to who is doing it the right way versus a deceptive way. But is there deceptive practice within the realm of youth soccer in the United States? It's a clear 100% yes, unequivocally. There's an unbelievable amount of deception. And it's difficult to watch and difficult to be part of, which is really at the heart of our program. That's why we started it. We want to have a completely pure model. The only sort of thing that I will say that is an absolute no-no is I don't want my kid ever part of my program for the rest of my life. I don't care how good he is, because that will pollute the program. So we built it intentionally to make sure that it is in no way, shape, or form going to fall victim to the sorts of things that do happen in negatively formed environments. So, it exists. I could talk about it ad nauseum, but I leave it to you guys.
Alex, if you're a parent that is, doesn't really know a ton about soccer, because, my parents, when I was playing travel soccer, they were all the baseballs and the basketballs or volleyballs, all that stuff. So they didn't really truly know what soccer was. And, when I said I wanted to play and my sister wanted to play, it was kind of a learning curve for all of them. For the parents out there that, have their kids that want to play travel soccer, and how do you try to navigate, what's true, what's not, kind of like what's fake news and what's not?
I'll tell you the best possible outcome you could ever look at is the alumni of a club, what happened to them, and forget soccer, because guys, it's 1% of 1% of 1% where soccer is what happened to them. So what happened to them? Did they go to an Ivy League school? Did they become a doctor? Did they become an attorney? Did they weaponize the skills from youth sports to then get highly effective? Did they start a podcast? Did they become happily married? Those are the things that if you could sort it out and you could go, wow, there is the alumni base of that club. That's great information. So that's one way. The other way is have conversation with 100% neutral third parties. And that's hard to find. I happen to be one of them. I'll be honest, I will not have those conversations. I don't have time. But I will answer your questions, because this is a great way to get it out to scale. And I appreciate the show that you guys have and the platform. It's a great way. So watching your show is a great one. I don't believe either of you owns a youth club. I don't believe either of you charges for tryouts. I don't believe either of you is trying to get anybody to play for any organization, not even mine. Because if I look at mine as an outsider, I would do what I do with everything else. I'd be incredibly skeptical. I go, this is absolutely nonsense. Who on earth is dumb enough to give free soccer away? They're doing this as a play to later charge. And no, we're not. And I will tell you that a million times over. But you probably don't believe me, and that's fine. But try to talk to people that have no skin in the game, and you will get an honest assessment.
could be in the sport, could be out of the sport, but now I'm curious because we're talking about it. What are some of your success stories in your position?
My favorite story from coaching ever is taking a kid who had low confidence, instilling in them more confidence, and then watching them weaponize soccer to end up at Yale. I'm not going to say the name because I don't do that
Wow.
kind of a thing, but
Wow.
that is unbelievable. That is a success.
Yeah.
I then built a platform where I had another, whatever you would like to call it, pro-am club. These names are such nonsense in the US. It's the one behind me. This kid played for us and became the number one pick in the MLS draft. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Did we do it? Absolutely not. What a player. Unbelievable player.
Yeah.
So those are sort of the things where I'm proud to have been part of them. What has Detroit Metro done? We took a player, we brought them in. They were here for 2 months, and now they're playing in Germany professionally. Sweet. Love it. Love it. That's a great early success for us. But what are we really doing that I'm really proud of? We have a player who didn't go through a traditional pathway, didn't play at a major university, played club soccer. I think this kid is a pro through and through. Trying to teach them marketing skills so that they get picked up late in life as a pro because they're good enough, but it's a confidence issue, it's a self-promotion issue, it's a marketing issue, and that is real value that we're trying to add. And they know full stop. First of all, we don't charge them anything, so it's pure. But they know full stop the odds of them becoming the next Jamie Vardy are nearly zero. But this kid comes to everything. He scores a bunch of goals. He loves it, and he's a successful W-2 wage earning part of the corporate world. And I'm so proud of the kid. And I've coached him now for over 10 years. He's worked for my what a kid. So those are the success stories to me. It is not that I tricked some dude that's making $100, a game under the table to come play for me for $110 under the table. And now I've jeopardized actual collegiate eligibility for the rest of it. I'm repulsed by most of soccer. I'll be fair. It really, I know so much and it hurts me so bad. And all I want to do is create an actual meritocracy, an actual one. And I've been working on it for 20 years. And you guys saw it yesterday, maybe for the first time. And I'm sure there's tremendous skepticism because I don't know that it's really been done honestly elsewhere. But we want more honesty within the sport throughout all of the platforms. It would be a tremendous boost to US soccer because right now, as you indicated earlier, there's so many players that are so gifted that just don't get a real chance for whatever reason. And if some dude in Cleveland sees this and goes, oh, that guy's crazy enough that I want to do the same thing in Cleveland, that's a success. If some dude in Novi sees it and wants to start a club next door to us and compete against us, awesome. That's why we have the Merit Cup. We give $10,000 to anybody that can beat us at soccer. Entrance fee, $0. Everything we do is free. Come beat us, step up, raise the level. That's what we're about. And if that offends you, great. Find something that's softer because God knows most of society has gone that way. But we're not. We're raising the level.
Well, Nate, I think you and I should form a soccer team and take on Detroit Metro.
Yeah, let's do it.
Ready?
Let's go.
I
need the money.
Let's go. By the way, last year we lost, and happily. That was the coolest game of the year. We cut a $10,000 check. It was like straight out of semi-pro. It was a fat, big, proper big check. And I hope that the team that won ran to the bank and was like, we better cash this because it's fake. But no, they got paid. We lost.
Well,
oh man,
I'll take you guys on. I'll play for that money.
Ryan, you might have to play in the first game if we don't have enough players. So I'm just letting you know, I might have to be out there too.
NSN versus Detroit Metro soccer game. We'll broadcast it too and everything. But John has to play too. We got to make sure John plays.
Love it.
Oh yeah, bring it back to goalie days.
But obviously, run a little low on time here, Alex. So I like to ask a couple of fun questions. If you could go see a live music performance, whether this artist band is dead or alive, who are you going to go see?
I would like to see Journey.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a great one.
Shout out the Red Wings.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Why Journey?
What's your favorite one? What's your favorite song?
Separate Ways.
Ooh, that was in Stranger
Yeah.
Things. That was in Stranger Things.
Okay.
Stranger Things is an
Okay.
electric television program.
Is this?
Unbelievable. I've seen every episode. I can't remember half of them because it's just way too dense. But the '80s vibes, they slap. What a show!
It is. It is.
So JT was saying he's into it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think his kids were into
Got to
it.
get
and
it
he just
started though.
Said he had to
Mhm.
had to watch it.
But
And
we
then last one. What's your go-to? Actually no. So we're currently doing a World Cup countdown right now, and we are we're making a video every day of the top 120 World Cup moments. It starts today because we're 120 days out from the World Cup. What is your favorite World Cup moment that you've witnessed?
Oh, my God, what a question that is. There is a song called Zinedine Zidane. I don't know if you guys have heard it,
I've not.
but it is absolutely electric. It's by this group called Vaudeville Smash. You got to check it out. The Zidane headbutt
Mhm.
is maybe my greatest World Cup memory. And you have to watch the music video to the Zidane song. The song's great, unreal. It's like a blast from the past, just unbelievable memory lane type song. But the music video, like these guys, I like people that something's wrong with them mentally, myself being one of them.
Oh wow.
And Vaudeville Smash is just gotta watch it.
I got something wrong with me too, so we can be friends if you really want. So
I would love to.
Ryan, you got something else? You got something else for
No,
us?
I just saw like the opening photo of like the thumbnail kind of the music video, and you weren't kidding. That's a interesting. Wow, it's an interesting video.
It's amazing what the world puts in your
play that
orbit.
one.
Yeah.
That being one of them. That song is just my kids listen to it. And my kids don't know a single one of those players, man. Like, but they love that song because it's just very well done, but it is an unbelievable song.
Just has to be catchy. Appreciate you dropping by the show today, Alex, though. Appreciate you taking the time out. Also wanted to say this before we say goodbye. Go Blue. And we had fun talking to you. Looking forward to chatting with you
That wasn't
again.
planned, by the way.
Go
I
Blue.
just saw the first shirt I saw.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir. But we appreciate you dropping by.
Thanks,
you,
guys.
Alex.
It's a pleasure. See ya.
Yes, sir. So that was Alex Lubianski joining us from Detroit Metro. Yeah, man, I loved his talking about the transparency in the sport and trying to create a product that is more transparent, that's more forward, that's more direct, is great. And I love what they have planning over there. And I love his enthusiasm. I think it's something that's very contagious, but his willingness and his confidence to try and start something new. I think that's something that's awesome. And I would gladly take potentially $10,000 to put a squad together
Same.
to compete against Detroit Metro. So if we
should,
want to organize something,
Tell John we got to form a team here. Let's see what happens.
we got Bianca, Nathan, JT, you, myself. So we already got 5 of the players we need. So just need to find a few other ones. So we'll be all right. We get to recruiting. You got a lot of friends who played once upon a time.
They're still in the area.
So anyways,
let's go into
big thanks to Alex though for joining us on the show.
Yeah, I would agree. Let's get into question of the day. That was eventful. That was an eventful interview. Probably one of our best, if not the best interview we've had on the show.
That was great.
Love the energy and love what Alex is doing over there. But anyway, Salt Athletic, one of the official sponsors of us here at the National Soccer Network, and they're the official sponsor of us here on Question of the Day. Use promo code NSN15 to save 15% off of that #1 smell-proof cleat bag that works, which I did find it here. It's right here, so I was able to put one back in the studio here for us, or right by my workstation here. So there it is, 100% works. Visit saltathletic.com today or scan that QR code on your screen. And if you do not want to use that promo code and want a shot at winning a free Salt Athletic bag, head over to our Instagram at NatSoccerTV. Comment hashtag NSN Salt giveaway and tag it or mention a friend in that comment section on any of the NSN Salt Athletic giveaway posts. Also, drop us a follow, and you'll be entered to win one of our Salt Athletic bags. And we are giving away a bag every single Friday here live on the show as well. So, and we got 19 more to give away. So the next 19 weeks, 19 bags given away. But anyway, question of the day. Predictions for how well the U.S. men's and women's hockey team does in the Olympics.
I'll go with the U.S. winning silver. I don't know who U.S. men. Sorry, winning silver. I don't know who we would end up. Probably be us in Canada, to be completely honest with you. I'm so tortured from that, though. I think we'll beat them the first time around, and then I think we'll find a way to lose to them at the very end. So, silver or bronze. For the women's team, though, I mean, gold. All day, every day.
Yeah, I thought
the way they've
yesterday
been playing so far.
When they put belt to ass on Canada, I was like, wow, they might just go win this whole thing. I'm like, there might not be a reason for me to even watch it till the gold medal match because they're just killing everybody. So I would say yes to the gold medal to the women's team. But you know what, Nate? You know what? The men's team is coming away with the gold too. They're coming away with the gold. I'm telling you, this is our year.
It.
Canada, you know what? They had the little four nations. You know what? That's little Mickey Mouse. Little Mickey Mouse trophy. And you know what?
Little Mickey Mouse.
We beat you the first time, and you know what we also did? We beat you up too. That's what's gonna happen. We're going to win the gold. Team USA.
We're 1-1.
And then you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna say, "Suck it, Canada. Suck it."
There you go. There should have been a third game for the trilogy.
Exactly, and that's what we're gonna see in the gold medal match. It's gonna be the trilogy right there.
Yeah. That's what we need.
Exactly.
No, I agree.
I don't think they play till tomorrow. I think it's their first game. Latvia?
Yeah, tomorrow is their first game. Is it them or the Czech Republic? I can't remember. Denmark? I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, one of them. But
one of them. And then we're gonna have our own miracle on 26 because we beat the Canadians. You know who's gonna be in it? Red Wing Dylan Larkin. Even though there was a Red Wing technically in the Russian team, so. Yeah, I guess there's that. But we're going to have an American Red Wing this time. That's right. We're going to have Dylan Larkin, and he's going to be sitting there talking about God knows what. And then the Kachucks will be in there, and we'll be like, yeah, we own Canada. That's all.
Cool to see all the Michigan products, too, that are on the team. Obviously, Larkin being one of them.
How many are
Michigan
there?
Man. So, I think 3 in total.
Because Hellebuck's one of them,
played
right?
at Michigan. Yeah. Yep. So... Yeah,
there's but Team USA was like, no, we can't have enough Michigan.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's crazy to think how many players Michigan's produced. Just that hockey program needs to just get over the hump, man. They haven't won a national title since 1997. You know, even Sparty has one in 07, but it's like they've been to how many Frozen Fours? It's like they just need to find a way.
They just get
need
there
to find
and
a way.
Just sell and choke and don't win anything.
Exactly. All that.
Can't be saying that because Michigan State fans will get mad.
Well, they will get mad. We've said enough stuff to make them mad already. We make them mad every single day of the week.
We got on Facebook over 100K viewed videos of me saying Jeremy Fears is a dirty player. And everyone's like, no, you can't say that. You can't be saying that.
Well, you can't say that because, he proved it. But anyways, that'll wrap up episode 227. I did choose for who
to bet on Micah Parsons. I did say that.
Yes.
It was kind of short, but we got it.
Likewise. So, no, we are definitely in cahoots on that. But another big thanks to Alex Lubianski for joining us on the show, GM and coach at Detroit Metro FC, good partner of the network. I know we've done some of their games in the UPSL. We appreciate everybody that drops by this show, and we'll obviously have more guests as we continue to roll along here on Inside the Game. But that'll wrap up 227. Again, tomorrow I will not be in. It'll be Ryan and Jackson bringing you that show from 9 to 11. Jack from 9 to 11. And then on Friday, I'll be back with you guys to wrap up the week as we get ready for a new week and get closer to the World Cup. But Ryan, have fun tomorrow with Jack. I'm sure it'll be a great show for you guys. And until I see you guys on Friday, and Ryan and Jack see you tomorrow morning. So long, everybody.
biggest matches to the hottest takes, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wenger bring you the stories, the analysis, and the edge you won't get anywhere else. Streaming live weekdays at 9 a.m. on YouTube, Roku TV, Facebook, Twitter, and all major platforms. No filters, no fluff, just real talk, real soccer. This is Inside the Game.